Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Flagrant Talk Sports Podcast. It's your host, Isaiah, back with a brand new video. We have never done anything wrestling related. I kind of teased this in the last video, and there's no better time than to bring some wrestling content to the channel than this year's Royal Rumble. It is absolutely loaded. I cannot wait to dive into it. If this is your first time stumbling on Flagrant Talk, welcome. If you are a returning member who is tuned into our basketball and football and baseball stuff, let me know if wrestling is something you'd be interested in. This is something where I'm tuning into every Raw, SmackDown, PLE. So I would be happy to introduce some of these videos, not as frequently, but throw them into the rotation every once in a while if that is something you want. But without further ado, in this video, I am going to break down DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns, Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens, the Women's Rumble and the Men's Rumble. We're going to break down surprise entrants in both the men and women's. I'm going to give you the final four and, of course, my pick to win the Royal Rumble. So if you like this video, if you like this content, please feel free to leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know who your picks are. I would absolutely love to hear them. Without further ado, let's get this video going right away. DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns. And man, is it nice to see some tag team titles on the line in a PLE. It feels like it's been forever. And I feel like this match is not being talked about. I get it. The men's rumble is stacked. The women's rumble is stacked, and it's going to have a ton of surprise entrants. But this could sneakily be, the match that is like, wow, in ring wise, this is incredible. I think it's been since Mania since we've seen the tag belts on a PLE. It's ridiculous. But it's really cool to see DIY and Motor City get this opportunity to show themselves off to a big audience like the Royal Rumble, where a lot of more casual people or people who don't really tune into every Raw, SmackDown, even PLE can see this and be like, oh, there's some cool tag stuff going on in the men's division. Like maybe I'll tune into some of those. But for my pick, I'm picking DIY to retain these belts. I think it's too early in their reign to give them back up to Motor City. I liked Motor City's run. I feel like it was about 2.5 months, and they've really, really revitalized this men's tag team division. So I really like what they've brought, but I find it difficult to see DIY losing. They're definitely going to play dirty. That's what they're set to do, but I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy. Maybe Pretty Deadly gets involved. I know they've kind of, funnily enough, been like the glue tying all of these tag team stories together. So we'll see. But I think it's really difficult in my brain to see DIY losing these belts this early on. So I'm making my pick DIY to retain. Again, the most quiet match we've got so far, but I think it deserves a little more love than it's getting. I think we're in for a good match. Next up, Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens for the undisputed WWE Championship in a ladder match. Man, this is going to be brutal. I really expect this one to have some crazy falls. I think we're going to get KO completely unhinged off the rails. He's going to beat, sorry, mom, the shit out of Cody Rhodes. It's going to be ugly. I expect this to get really crazy. Lots of yelling, lots of high energy, getting the crowd amped up, lots of chants. I think this match is going to be incredible. I mean, truly incredible. In my opinion, I think the only surprise we could potentially get, Randy Orton, KO sent him away with the pile driver a couple months ago. He's the only guy, maybe we get him in the Rumble, in the men's Rumble. I could see something happening, but really, I think if Randy Orton is coming back, it's something related to this match. That's the only like big surprise that I could see. Um, I also really like this one because for every Cody beef, kind of really since he got the belts from Roman, it's felt pretty safe. Like, yes, the AJ Styles match was amazing, especially in Backlash with that crowd. But it never really felt like Cody was gonna lose that. Logan Paul, there was no world where he was gonna lose that. And he's had some fun like one-off feuds with like Carmelo, but it's never really been in jeopardy. I'm not saying it's crazy. I think, for my prediction, I think Cody wins. Um, but there's like a 10 10%. I'm giving KO 10%. It would be awesome to see him win. To see him as a heel just going crazy with all that power, with everyone coming after him, kind of being the mob boss of like, "Oh, Sammy, you really want this match? I'll see what I can do." Like being an asshole. Like I do think a KO run, even if it just is until Mania or slightly after that, it could be fun. But in my opinion, I don't see Cody losing this belt as a champion. And I think the men's rumble building to Cody, it makes has a little more juice than 2 KO. This is no knock on him, but I think Cody has that more name brand where building to him is a little cooler. It's a little cooler, and I could see the men doing that. The other surprise, now that I've said my winner of Cody, I would not be shocked at all if Kevin Owens comes out in the men's rumble and is going ballistic. He's completely lost. He's like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe I lost. I'm throwing you out. I'm throwing you out. I'm banging my head with a chair. I'm doing whatever I can." I could totally see KO going ballistic, but at the end of the day, I think Cody retains, and I think he retains, pretty comfortably. We're gonna get him in danger. It's gonna be a handful of 2 counts. He's gonna get his ass beat, but overall, I think Cody is going to hang on to the belt and set up who I have winning the Rumble going after him in the men's bracket. So those are my picks for the one-offs, but now let's get into the Women's Royal Rumble. And I'm going to start this off with just a handful of surprises. These are people that I think are either going to make a return from real life injury, that are going to make it from being written off, surprise signings in the WWE. Those are what I'm going for first. And then I'll give you my final four and, of course, my winner. To kick us off, I think we've got Jordan Grace from TNA. We already got her at the Rumble last year. All the reports are that she has signed a multi-year contract with WWE. Again, I take these things with a grain of salt until I see her in a WWE mat. You know, it's all speculation, but I would be pretty surprised if Jordan doesn't at least make an appearance. I don't have her winning. As I'll said, I will make it very clear on who my final four picks are. But I think Jordan Grace is a perfect fit to throw into this Rumble. Give some strength, throw a couple people out. I think it would be fun. It would get a really decent pop as well with the WWE TNA partnership too. There's no bad blood there. I think Jordan would be amazing. Next up, Alexa Bliss. This is the opposite of Jordan. We have heard reports that it looked like she was locked in to making her return to WWE, and now it's seemingly gone. We have no idea. So I'm going to have Alexa Bliss returning. Again, it's all speculation, but I think now is the perfect time for Alexa to come back. Her pop would be great. I think it's been roughly 2 years since we've seen her in the WWE, and it would be great. So this is one. If you would ask me in like December, I would have said lock, absolute lock. Alexa Bliss is going to be there. I'm a little more worried now, but I think Alexa will pop up. Next up, I've got Asuka. This is one where it's injury, real life. We don't know. Is Asuka going to come back? I sure as hell hope so. I think it would be really fun to see her back in the ring. This is one of my favorite performers in the WWE. So it would be cool. Selfishly, I would love to see her come back. Um, but I don't know. I guess it comes down to how she's rehabbing, how close she is to returning. We don't really know besides the occasional like tweet. So we'll see, but I think Asuka will make an appearance. The next one, more of a bigger surprise, got Nikki Bella. The reason I have Nikki, and this is not something I expected, that WWE Raw, the Raw on Netflix, the first episode where she's there, we've all seen the clip, fellas, especially if we're looking at, we've all seen the clip, okay? But the pop that she received and then her teasing, I could be looking at my competition tonight. I think Nikki's coming back, man. I think we could get some Bella swagger out there. She would be a fun name in the women's division. I could totally see her with like Tiffany Stratton. I could totally see her with a Liv Morgan. It doesn't even have to be for a belt or anything, but there would be some fun feuds, even if this reign isn't too long or it's only a year stint in the WWE. I think it would be a lot of fun to have Nikki there, and her pop would be awesome. So I've got Nikki making a return, and the final entrant before I get into my final four, I've got Jade Cargill. I I'll be honest, I didn't think that she would be written off for or wrote off for as long as she has been, but she has. I don't think it's been bad, and we still don't know who injured her. Of course, in story, it could be Naomi to get that tag spot. It could be Bianca. We don't 100% know, but I think that Jade comes back, is pissed off, and makes a deep run. My next pick is where I start my final four. I've got Jade in that final five. I think she is going to be an absolute terror in the ring, and I think it's going to be a ton of fun to watch. Sleepy dark horse to win it, if I'm being totally honest. Especially with her not having that tag belt and having a little more freedom. But I don't think she wins it after being written off for a while. On to my final four, and we're starting this off. Second place last year, second place the year before. Liv Morgan. Liv has been amazing. Last year was really her year in the women's division, an absolute superstar in the making. She's got of course, the looks and the swagger and the in ring, and she's able to cut a really fun promo. Liv is the whole package. I think her being Final Four and trying to get back to get that belt to go against Rhea again is there, but I think she falls short. Me personally, I'm done with Rhea and Liv. It's an awesome. It was a fun feud, but it kind of overstayed its welcome. We took too long, and I wanted to see Liv during her reign fight more people, and I want to see Rhea fight more people. I like that Rhea's already gone after Nia, um, and beaten her, but I'm ready to see more from Liv outside of just Rhea. So I've got Liv making the final four, but losing. At third place, I've got the man, Becky Lynch. I've got her returning as a surprise entrant in the Rumble. This is another one where I thought that she would have already been on a Raw. I think that she'll be on Raw and Charlotte Flair, who's already declared, will be on SmackDown. Totally my guess. I have no clue. But to me, it makes the most sense. Becky's a beast, gonna come back in the ring, get a massive pop, and be a legitimate threat to win it. Would not surprise me if she won and said, "Hey, Rhea, I want it back. Give it to me." WrestleMania 41, boom. People would be happy, but I don't think that Becky wins. That sets me up for second place. Love her or hate her. Charlotte Flair getting second place, already declared. And To me, I do think it's a little interesting. I wonder if she declared because we are really in for some big surprises in the women's. I think Roxanne Perez, who's another one that I didn't put up, could totally pop in and then move up to the main roster from NXT. But lover or hater, Charlotte Flair is one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. I see her going on a deep run and being a legitimate threat. She's going to throw multiple people out. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to kind of be the Iron Man of this match and going at it, getting out there early. But I have her coming in second, and that is because I have my favorite women's wrestler, and man, I'm hoping this happens. Io Sky getting a win and then challenging Rhea Ripley for her belt at WrestleMania. Io Sky fans, we are up. Io and Rhea kind of teased it a while ago, where they had that face to face picking up the belt, and they've been friends this year. They worked together at previous PLEs. They've kind of been homies on Raw, especially against like a Liv Morgan, united in their front. But now that that belt is off Liv, I would love an Io Sky Rhea Ripley feud. Io deserves it. She's been pretty quiet in the past couple episodes of Raw, and I think it's time for her to strike and let it be known this is mine. And to be honest, I would not be mad at all with her taking that belt off Rhea at WrestleMania 41. Those are my women's picks. Let me know what you think of my final four. Who is your winner? And now let's move over to the men. Surprise entrant number one. I believe in Joe Hendry, your TNA champion. Uh, this is one where he is pretty much openly spoiled that he's coming back for a better part of like half a year at this point. He has either subliminally tweeted about it or openly talked about, hey, man, John Cena, I'm coming for you. Brother, I don't think you're supposed to say that. I don't think you're supposed to say that, but I do think a face-off between Hendry and my guy, I'm wearing this shirt, you can't really see it, is going to happen in ring. They're going to have a fun moment. I would totally love if Hendry did something and then got thrown out by Cena. I think there's a lot of fun stuff you could do with the Rumble with Hendry, but I don't have him winning. Obviously, the surprise entrance, like the women's, I'll make it clear on my final four, but I've got Hendry coming out. The next one, this is more of me praying for it, man. Jeff Hardy, a GOAT, arguably my favorite wrestler ever besides a CM Punk. Hardy is incredible. Everything he's fought through in his life, he has made it clear he wants his final match to be with the WWE. Obviously, this isn't that. He is a tag team champ at TNA with his brother. And I just think this pop would be ridiculous. Hardy coming out, hitting his classic move, the crowd going crazy, getting in that ring, hitting, flying off the top rope, doing something cool like that, giving Hardy that moment in WWE, I really think could be special. With this partnership with TNA, this is totally possible. Obviously, not a guy who will win. None of these TNA crossovers for the men or women will, but it would be a blast to see Jeff Hardy in that ring for this Royal Rumble. If not this year, I could totally see it next year. I'm wishing Hardy the best. That is one of my goats, man. Next up, whoop that Trick Williams. He's done everything he can in NXT. And if he sticks around in NXT, cool. He has that star power in that men's division where he can kind of pop his collar. I think it's time for the brother to be moved up. I think it's time for him to be involved in this main roster with the men. I know it's loaded, but he is one of those future stars, right? When you look at the next 10 years of what the WWE can be, Trick is that, and in that mix. So I think that Trick stands a great chance at popping out. Excuse me. He could definitely wrestle Obafemi one last time. That belt's not coming off Oba. I think it's time to move Trick over. Bigger things ahead, and let's see what he can do. I would love a face off of some sort with him and Carmelo Hayes, obviously, with their history. Next up, I talked about him with Cody and KO, Randy Orton. It's been weird without him. I feel like he's been gone for a while, and I've really started to like miss him on SmackDown and Raw and everything. His feud with Gunther at Bash in Berlin was awesome. So hopefully Randy comes back soon. Listen, at some point during Cena's final run, I need a heel Randy versus a Cena. It would be incredible. I would love. I wouldn't even mind if Cena, when he gets his belt, um, loses it to Randy. This is totally unrelated, but I think Randy coming back at the Rumble is totally possible. I think it would be awesome to see him back out there, and he is going to be a menace. Hopefully, sowing the seeds for him to turn heel, or at least beat the living hell out of Kevin Owens when he comes back. Next up, AJ Styles. This is another one. It's a real life injury. We don't know when he's coming back or any of these things, but if he's healthy, I hope AJ's there. I feel like he's kind of in the twilight of his career, obviously with the fake retirement and everything, that angle. But I do think we're on kind of the twilight years of AJ Styles. Still could have another year or two of a really good wrestling, but we'll see. I think AJ popping out at the Rumble would be amazing, and I fully think if he's healthy, it's possible, and that's a big if. So this one I'm not as confident about, but again, hopeful that it happens. And this final one is the biggest one. The final boss, The Rock. Uh man, he really is like the looming figurehead in picking this men's thing. Could he be entrant 31, the TKO guy? I'm coming in this ring. I get to do what I want. I'm The Rock. I'm the final boss. I think it's possible. I, it would just be so weird to not see him at WrestleMania 41, especially with how awesome the build up to WrestleMania 40 was. He was a star in that role as a heel. I want to see it again. I know people are mad at him for kind of breaking kayfabe a little bit with Cody and being nice with him at that first Raw. I didn't love it. And then he went on NXT and rambled. And it was like, I don't, the Rock, let the Rock carry you. Let the Rock. Where, man? Like, are you gonna be here? Because if you are, I'm down for the ride. Pause. But I'm down. I'm willing to see where your story goes. But I don't know, man. This is the like biggest what if. Is it gonna happen? Is it not? If we don't see The Rock, I don't know, man. This is the one. This is the one for me. The biggest surprise that could totally swap up this final four that I've got ahead. But I can't include him in the final four because I don't feel confident enough that he's going to pop out. With that being said, leading over, my final four, offer it, I'm cheating. A little bit. I think this is 4 and 5. Seth freaking Rollins and Drew McIntyre. Listen, if I had to pick between the two, I think Seth is the one I'd put it for. But we could get some great stuff with both. Obviously, Drew uh, going after the bloodline, being on this quest. He's already fought with Seth on Raw. I could totally see him tossing Seth out to kind of even things up a little bit with like, hey, you may have beaten me, but I eliminated you from the Rumble. I could totally see it. I'll dive back into these people in a minute after I talk about this next person. My next lock in the final four, Roman Reigns, the OTC. Um, with Seth Rollins, obviously the connection there would be amazing. And Seth, after this last episode of Raw, definitely teased like when I see Roman in that ring, I'm targeting him first. Like I'll take out these scrubs, but he is the one I want to eliminate above all else. I could totally see it happening. As for a Drew McIntyre, what more needs to be said? He is on a bloodthirsty spree of taking out the bloodline, doing what he can to eliminate each and every one of them. Roman Reigns, I feel like if he's at a PLE, he's going to go far. If he's in a Rumble, which he hasn't been in a while, he's going to go far. They're not going to have him eliminated early. He's not going to, pop in at 5 and then be eliminated 16th. He's going far, and we know he's in the Rumble. So I've got Roman finishing third, second or third. And the overlooming thing here is Paul Heyman. What is Punk going to do? Is Paul gonna end up costing Roman? Is The Rock gonna cost Roman? Is Jacob Fatu gonna do something as solo even in this Rumble? I mean, he walked off, and then there's all of these different things with the bloodline in this Rumble. And I'm not 100% sure what's gonna happen, and I love that. I think it's exciting, but I've got Roman going far regardless. Second, pains me to say, my guy, I'm wearing the same shirt as him. John Cena, I don't think is going to win the Rumble. He could totally win it. I think it's possible, but story-wise, it's a little stale. It's a little stale if he wins it and then, oh my goodness, I get to go to Mania, I get to fight Cody or Gunther or whoever and win. That is the safe Cena story to make him a champion, have him beat the record. And he could totally do it. It's not the worst story in the world. If he wins, I'm going to be super excited. Wrestling fans will be happy. It's not going to be this outcry of anger. But I think him losing and being the guy of rise above it, you keep fighting, you never back down, you never give up, you always keep going. If he steps in to his first match of his retirement and wins the Royal Rumble in one of the most stacked men's Rumble cards ever, like unless you're going with like a Super Cena angle, it's a little boring. He's going to the final two. And I think that leads me to a stare off with who I think is going to be the winner of the men's Royal Rumble, CM Punk. CM Punk. After this last episode of Raw, the episode on, what is the date today? January 27th. I think it's hard to not see CM Punk. I would love Punk and Cena in that final four staring down. This is the connection as well to what I had with Drew and Seth. Seth and CM Punk have their fight. They had their fight on Raw, and Rollins lost. And he keeps talking about, man, I want to take Punk out. Drew, we know their beef. Hell in a Cell match is my favorite match of last year for the WWE. It was incredible. But after this incredible promo from both Cody and CM Punk, it's hard for me to see any other man walking out of there on top. Punk finally gets his dream of headlining a WrestleMania. He finally wins a Royal Rumble, and he will go up against Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, where I said earlier, I've got him retaining against Kevin, and I think this is one of the biggest reasons. My thing too, right? Going back to the KO Cody thing. If KO wins, and you saw, and all of us fans got to see this amazing, promo between Punk and Cody, I'm going to be a little hurt. It was so fire. It was heat. And I'm so excited to see where it goes that honestly, if KO wins, it would be a great, like, whoa, what's next? But I think Punk has earned this. It's time. pays off on their talk at last year, where Punk was letting them know about his story. It's Punk's turn at 41 with the ability to win the belt, strip Cody of the belt a year after Cody finished his story against the OTC Roman Reigns. With all that being said, let me know, what do you think of the men's Royal Rumble? This card is stacked. As for the women's, stacked as well. More surprises. Where the men's, you're getting all of these incredible wrestlers declaring one after another, and it's going to be just amazing to see play out. Give me your men's pick, your winners for the women, the tag team, Cody versus KO. I would love to hear them. And if this is your first time tuning in, we end every video with a song of the pod. It's only right. Cult of Personality for my guy, CM Punk. Thank you for tuning in. Have an amazing Royal Rumble. I cannot wait to watch it. And hopefully, if you guys like more of this content, I'll be filming more wrestling related content soon. Love y'all. Have a great time. Peace.